Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Unemployed Pinoy CEO. I'm your host, Francis San Diego. Today, we have another great episode. I have a very special guest. She is a president-elect of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, which is in the greater Los Angeles area, and also a co-founding member of the same Chamber of Commerce, right? And also, she is a senior board
Business
relationship manager. Allow me to introduce to you Miss Lois Klavir. Hello, Lois.
Hi, Francis. Good evening, everyone. To the viewers of UPCEO, glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you finally after, how long has it been? Like 3 weeks, right? Or a month that we planned ahead on this one.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone is vaccinated and,
Yes.
we're out. And I'm so glad to be here.
Yes.
The guests here, you're in for a treat. So
Yes.
very
there we go.
honored.
There we go. Thank you, Miss Lois. So anyway, before we begin, I wanted to take this brief moment to really thank you because it's no joke. You travel all the way from where do you live again?
In West Hills. So it took me about 2.5 hours to
Yes.
get here.
So that's why I was like, wow, okay, she did that. So I really must provide a great show for you.
No, this is a great show. I'm always honored and, I love driving in a sense that I can talk to people and just chat away. So that's one thing that I miss, working from home. But yeah, today I'm like, okay, I'm going to save my voice a little bit. I'm going to stop talking, 1 hour before I get here.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I really appreciate you coming over here. Then anyway, please do introduce yourself and please tell our viewers out there what you do and what you do for a living.
Sure.
Yes.
So, hi again, everyone. I am Lois Klavir. I'm a senior business relationship manager at JP Morgan Chase. Vice President. I've been with Chase for about 3 years now. So I cover the San Fernando Valley area, or what we call LA North. I sit in the Encino main branch, their business banking group, and I really serve and help small business owners, established ones around like 5 to 20 million in annual revenues. If they need help on purchasing real estate, or having, working capital needs through a line of credit, business deposit, merchant services, treasury services. I'm the one-stop shop for the business owner.
Wow.
So, I know banking can be complicated. When you're a business owner, you just want to run your business, right? You don't want to deal with, banking.
Yes.
You want other people to deal with that. So that's how, I come in the picture.
You help business owners
Correct.
take off that workload, right?
Yeah, exactly. They take care of their business. I take care of their banking.
Nice. That's nice to hear. So anyway, that's good. So now, before we go further, I wanted to ask you, how did your journey started? Like from the obviously from the Philippines, right? So please tell us. Let's go way back, right? I mean, here in the show. We provide stories because our goal is to provide inspiration to whoever can relate to the individual guest.
Of course.
So, and part of which is we wanted to take the opportunity to know your story. So yeah. So how did you start?
I started a long time ago.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention any years or
No years.
Just long time ago.
A long time ago, but I've actually been in banking for 21 years. So fresh off of college, I applied at the Philippine National Bank in the Philippines. So I got in their investment banking group. At that time, it was a brand new group. It was merchant banking, and they were just looking for fresh grads. Like, okay, I'm in. And the funny thing is, initially, the HR person's like, do you want to be a teller? And I was like, I don't want to be a teller.
I don't want to be a teller, yeah.
The funny reason is, I said, because I have allergies, which is true. I have, asthma and allergies.
Yes.
And I know when I touch, I'm exposed to certain things, you just runny nose and all that. It's like, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad that I didn't want to be, because, you cannot just turn down something.
Yes.
But you have to be honest in those situations and said, okay, we'll put you in this new department. So I got in there. I was like in the loan, like a loan analyst, financial analyst. I did that for 3 years, and I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot from my coworkers, my managers, and then eventually I moved to corporate banking. So corporate banking, that they do the bigger loans for the 1,000 corporate top 1,000 corporations in the Philippines. So like the Petrons of the world,
like
the big
Shell,
mega
Ayala.
world. So that type, and it's fun because I get to know these big companies when they were starting, 21x years ago. Yeah.
That's good. That's interesting. I mean, it's funny you mentioned about the allergies. Like right now, I do have allergies. It's kicking in. So I do apologize if you hear me somehow coughing a little bit because, I got allergies from the roses. So the pollens and everything is like really not good. But anyway.
Yeah, we got to manage the allergies.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, so now it's interesting that that point about you being honest, that you said that you have allergies, it led you a different path, I believe, right?
Yep.
So now when you got into that path and you mentioned that you enjoyed it, so now did it occur to you that, okay, I think I'm gonna do this for a long haul? Did it ever occur to you like that?
Not really. Actually, I was at PNB for 7 years, or Philippine National Bank, and then Lucio Tan came in and bought. It was privatized.
Yeah.
So they offered early retirement. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm like in my early 20s actually late 20s. I'm going to do my early retirement. And I worked for like a year outside banking, and I moved here in the States. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something else. I actually worked in mortgages, like, doing home loans, stuff like that. But then the economic downturn happened in 2007, 2008.
Yes, I remember.
So everybody was laying off, they lose their jobs. And I worked for a mortgage broker. So needless to say, I was affected, but I was really worried because I was under a working visa at that time. So if you lose your employment, you lose your legal stay.
Yes, exactly.
Here in the United. So I was freaking out big time. So
you can't do anything about it because it's the economic, crisis at that time.
Pretty much everybody is out of work at that time. So I looked at Craigslist. I looked everywhere. I called friends. I called business contacts. And luckily, I found, this small Asian bank on Craigslist looking for a credit analyst. And I'm like, oh, that's something I did in the Philippines. Yes. Why not? So I applied. They called me. And then, they finally gave me an offer. And I was like, is that per hour? It's like, no, that's per year.
Per year? Oh, my God. I thought you were like gonna say. I thought that's per month. No, it's per year. That's the first time I've heard that.
So I took probably about at least half of my income cut. I said it's okay, it's fine. First of all, I'm getting back to what I used to do in the Philippines. I still have a job. A lot of people didn't have a job for months, years. I'll be, I said, I'll be thankful for whatever I have. And because of that, because I kind of like brought down my pride, like so many times, like moving here in the States, I was able to move on to the next step and the higher step.
Wow, so. That's interesting. That's an interesting story. So, I mean, I know for a fact that the 2008 is like really, everybody is like hit. It's amazing that you kept on going, though, right? So when that happened, did it even occur to you to apply for a different type of job, or you just stuck with it? You just found an available job, though.
Yeah, I think what's important is what you're good at. Okay. So your skills. And I know I was doing the loans for a little bit, the home loans, but I know that industries will be difficult at that time. So I'm like, I have to get out of that industry at least for a little bit. So like, what am I good at? Like, I'm good at this commercial banking, business banking. And I found that. So as long as you know your strengths, it's easy to sell, what you do. And that's how I got hired pretty quickly. In just 3 weeks, I got a job.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
At least you kind of like get you were like freaking out at the time. Then luckily you got. It must be a relief for sure. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, I really count my blessings.
Yes, thank you. Now for that being said, afterwards, how long have you stayed with that Asian bank though?
About 5 years. Right.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
So you get paid 5 times.
I know. There you go.
You got paid 5 times.
Yeah. So 5 years, and then they're very, very nice people. Probably I would say 90% is Chinese speaking. So for me, it's good and bad because like I love to learn in a sense that I hear from people's conversations, but I don't understand the language. And I'm like, oh, I wish I understand, Mandarin, because they speak Mandarin a lot. But, working with other Asians, they're like not Filipinos, I'm like, oh, this is their culture. They're very similar to ours, because I'm only exposed to Filipino Chinese, but not the real Chinese or Taiwanese. So I took that opportunity to get to know their culture. So in that sense, I become more like well-rounded, but like, okay, I need to kind of think in a bigger picture. Do I want to stay here or do I want to grow my banking career? Because I already had a taste of how it's like in the United States, doing your business banking, commercial banking, like what is it outside? So that's when I started looking for opportunities.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. So, I mean, with that one, at least in a span of like what, 12, 13 years that you've got those under your belt, right? Like the banking, the loans, right? So after that, where did you end up going after the Asian bank?
So I kept connections. So I told them I worked with appraisers, I worked with title companies, escrow companies. I kind of put the word out that I want to look for another job. So the title company I was working with, she gave an introduction to another bank in downtown. It's like, okay, I'm going to try. And once you have that resume, like, from the Philippines and then another 5 years here, it's easy. It's like, oh, she fits the bill. So again, building on your strengths. So I got that job pretty easily.
Wow, that's nice. So it's another bank, right? I can imagine. So you've been really blessed to have a banking career.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I enjoy doing it. It's, the smaller banks, you get to do everything from A to Z. The bigger the bank is, the more specialized.
Concentrated, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you get really good at a certain process. So for me, it's best of both worlds because I got exposed to the smaller banks. So when things come across my desk like a loan, okay, I know how to do this, step 1, and I know how to do this step 10.
Yeah, so because you're an expert now. Because you with that 13 years when you applied, then you know already each and every department, I believe, that you can train. Did you do training as well?
Well, there's the bank training, but it's really on the job training.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yep. It's finding the mentors, and the bigger the organization, they're really taking care of you in a sense of, okay, this is your mentor. You have to learn from this mentor. But, you don't have those resources, in smaller banks because you have to figure out things on your own.
Yes.
The good thing I would say is in the Philippines, we're very good at Microsoft Excel.
Yes.
So when I came here, I'm like, oh, people don't really...
They don't know yet.
So I'm advanced, on that end. So I can create my spreadsheets that's fancy. I mean, not that fancy, but...
Yeah, they will tell you, wow, how do you do that? Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. So anyway, so now with that experience that you've had, what struggles have you encountered during those times? Like besides the fact that when you came in here 2007 and 8, that obviously it's like the economic downturn or so what struggles have you encountered that you can share with our viewers or listeners?
So for the longest time, I have this, credit analyst, financial analyst background. It came to a point that I feel like I wanted to do something else, but I didn't have the stomach to do it yet because I know, okay, this is bigger, this is challenging, it's something I've never done before, but there's something in me, it's like, you got to do something else. So that happened actually in 2016. So
just recently, 5 years ago, right? Okay.
Yeah, 2016. I got married that year.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So we celebrated our 5 years anniversary this year.
Wow.
Yeah, still COVID. So, I just cooked steak and, had steak dinner at home. But, during that year, I got married. I accepted a new role. So pretty much, instead of being in the background, it's like, okay, I'm going to be customer facing. I'm going to be the one talking to the customers, the borrowers, the clients, and, getting to know them firsthand, not getting secondhand information. That's a lot for me because, first of all, I thought, well, English is not really my first language. I did not grow up here. All of the things that I think I'm limiting myself. So it's like once I got over that, the doors just opened for me. Like I had zero contacts. Like, I had a few contacts, but if you're going to source business, you're going to generate business, you have to be out there. So I told myself I have to be really good at networking. So almost like every night I'm out networking.
Somebody who's also like that. One of our newest family members, Wendy, she has an upcoming show tomorrow. She has a show tomorrow as well. So shout out to you, Wendy. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry about that.
No, yeah. So you got to do what you got to do, right? And then your only limitation is yourself. So once I got over myself, I'm like, oh, it's so much fun in this networking events. You talk to people and you don't know what topic they're going to talk about. So you have to be quick on the fly. And, I think at the end of the day, you have to be likable.
Yes.
So if you're likable, you don't kind of force yourself into the conversation, let it naturally grow. I think they'll feel that, oh, you're authentic. I'm going to do business with you. I'm going to call you.
Okay.
So
that's nice. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that one. Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, networking is really important, right? So, I mean, when you mentioned about when you started to get over yourself, when you realized that, this is more fun or whatever, what did you do? Like, what's your plan of action at that time? Like, when you realized that, okay, now when I change my mindset, that I can do everything. So maybe you can share something, your experience.
Yeah. So at first, it didn't come to me naturally, but I heard people believing in me.
No.
So I think it's one of those things that, when you build these relationships, they take care of you. They look after you. So when I was a loan processor doing mortgages, before the downturn, this loan officer barely spoke English, or just have a really strong accent, in like Eastern European. It was like, Lois, like you have your MBA, why are you counting peanuts?
Really?
He would have that very direct conversation.
Yes.
It's like, you speak English well, like you can carry yourself well. Why don't you become a loan officer?
Yeah, bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just, get out of your hole, so to speak.
He is the one who told you that one.
Yeah, that one. And then another person, also a mortgage loan officer, told me that. It's like, okay, I'm getting all of these encouragements from, other people. only because like, okay, I just moved here in the States. I don't know what to do. But then you have these people who believe in you. And then all of a sudden kind of like, I think I can do this. And when I actually worked at Wells Fargo, I was, after the bank in downtown, I worked at Wells Fargo. And my manager there is like, Lois, what's your next step? Like,
Ooh.
I don't know what's my next step.
You don't know yet. You're not planning ahead yet at that time.
Yeah, it's like I don't know yet in the sense of like I think I'm gonna do what I'm doing, just become like a senior, credit analyst and be, credit officer, everything just like that. And he said, I think you can do something else because you care about people, you're good at what you do, you're personable, you like to go out. I think you can be a commercial loan officer or a business relationship manager. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try. And he said, I will help you. I will train you. I'll mentor you. So when you have these people who believe in you and they offer their mentorship, take that because it's very important for you rather than figuring it out on your own and just like making mistakes left and right. I mean, you're still going to make mistakes left and right, but you have to be okay with it. And you have to learn from what other people who are more experienced than you share their experiences. So I'm going to shout out to my former manager, Scott Schlang.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, a good thing that you mentioned. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, the power of like letting yourself be coachable. Definitely you're coachable. That's why you ended up where you at right now, right? Then maybe we can do some brief shout outs. Let me do the honors first. We can do some shout outs for a brief moment, then we'll go again and continue. So
Sure.
Do some shout outs if you have someone to.
Well, I want to say hi to my mom, Eva. She's watching right now. My friends in the Philippines, my family. Hi, Paul. So my brother actually have been working out virtually.
Nice.
So it's courtesy of Coach Paul Fit. Hello, Paul.
Yeah.
Then my friends in PNB.
Yeah, PNB.
Adele, Anna, Let. So, yeah.
Yes, that's great. That's great. So now for me, I'll also make a brief shout outs to my parents, my wife, my 3 kids, 2 daughters and 1 little boy.
Nice.
Then shout out to Mr. Koval himself, Bernard. Then Wendy Lindo, guys. Just to let you know, she has a second episode tomorrow. Please do watch her, okay? She has a really another episode guest. Really great guy. So anyway, okay. So now, getting back to your experience, I guess one thing that I wanted to ask is, okay, so if you go back 20 years from now, knowing what you know, what are you going to do differently?
I would have told myself that sales is not a bad thing.
You're pushing back the sales, huh?
Yeah, for the longest time, I was like, I don't want to be in sales because every time, at least in the Philippines, when you see a salesperson, it's like, oh, buy this. Like right away they push on you, and I hated that feeling. So I don't want to be that person. So in my mind, that's the only sales that there is. So I'm like, I don't want to be that person. So I'm like, I don't want to be in sales. And then, I came across people that are not salesy. They just like have a conversation with you. They're just available. I was like, oh, I can do that. I like that. I like solving people's problems. I like making connections and I enjoy it. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe because my vision of like sales is just this, it limited me. Like, so that's why expose yourself to many experiences because you might be limiting yourself based on that experience, but that experience might not be representative of the entire, universe of
sales.
Yep, absolutely.
That's good. So now, okay, you learned that one, right? Between sales and marketing. In your own experience, what's the difference between sales and marketing? In your own, understanding or perspective?
Yeah. For me, marketing is really how people see you. Like, what do you want to project in terms of your imaging? Like for me, I'm wearing blue.
Yes, very nice. Good thing that I wore this, so to kind of like blend with Miss Lois.
It's what they call subliminal blue.
There you go.
Yeah, so because I'm representing my bank,
yes,
that's what I love. Well, I love blue.
Yes,
but these little things that kind of people associate you with. It's very important. Like little details, I pay attention to those because when you get associated with something, automatically people think of you that way. So I think, marketing for me, that's how marketing...
Represent yourself, yeah.
Right. And then for sales, really is, for me, it's not really closing the deal. It's building the relationship.
Yes.
And, having that conversation, building that trust, and, eventually it will lead to sales, but it's not the end all and be all. Maybe being introduced to someone else. For me, that is sales. Like winning the person's trust, winning the person's person liking you. For me, that is sales.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's a golden nugget, guys. You'll learn from Miss Lois about that. No, yeah, definitely. I totally understand what you said because that also applied to me. Like I learned it the hard way. Because my experience, I started also in sales, but I'm like really pushy. Like, hey, buy this, buy that, without even understanding that you have, like what you said, you have to build a relationship first. It could lead you something bigger or, another sale or something. So that I don't understand. After graduating, also in college, I learned it the hard way. So now, during the course of time, like what you mentioned, that you tend to learn from your mistakes, which is really good. Really good. Wow, that's guys, you hear that? You heard that, right? It's a great advice from Miss Lois. So anyway, so for us, I just wanted to ask you, what is your what you can for the FACCGLA or Filipino American
Chamber of Commerce, Greater LA.
Yeah. Can you please talk to us about it?
Sure, yeah. So FACCGLA, it has been around for 20 years now. So we're celebrating our 20 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we've been around. And, what we are is really, a resource for business owners, a way to connect for business professionals, a way where you can find mentorship, networking. It's really a way for us to build each other. It's business development really is the main purpose of that. And what differentiates it from other social, organizations, it's not really about just like having parties, dance and all that, but we're really there to develop businesses, develop people, careers, support each other, some sort of technical assistance in partnerships with nonprofit organizations that, we work with. Like that one that we just did yesterday,
yes.
actually, with the National Asian American Coalition. So, they offer free counseling. And free counseling. And actually, like a quick plug.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
They offer first 100, those who sign up our intake form will have a free credit repair.
Wow.
So, free credit repair.
Yes, free credit repair. Okay, guys.
So make sure you contact me. I'll send you the link.
Yes, there you go. So that's good. So now, if I may ask, how many members now in their Chamber Commerce Group?
Yeah, so for us, it's about 120 right now.
Wow.
Yep.
And I can see that everybody's like participating. Like the Zoom calls are like,
oh yeah,
almost you cannot recognize everyone because it's so many that are attending.
Right.
So can you please share to us how are you one of the persons who started the group or
no I wish. Well, Well, actually, another group. So I joined the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, Greater LA, so FACCGLA. I joined them in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So
Was
when I
this
got my new role as, being in sales, business relationship manager,
newly married?
newly married,
A lot of things are going
a
on.
lot of things going on.
Uh,
So I'm like, I need to go out and, meet fellow Filipino Americans who are, doing business. Like, because I found out that we're very good at what we do. It's just, trusting the person you're talking and like getting connected. Like, we can do that with other non-Filipinos. Why can't we do it amongst ourselves? Right?
Yes, yes.
I have the privilege of speaking Tagalog and then English. Like, I'm going to take that to my advantage because many people just speak one language. I can speak two. Some people can speak three. Like, you use that as a connection. And I feel some people, especially if they're getting into like more business questions, they wanted to say something, but they cannot speak it in a way versus someone who speaks Tagalog.
Native, yeah.
Right. So, and then I have those conversations and they're like, oh yeah, like, thank you, like, salamat, you can speak Tagalog. So I go, yeah, of course.
Okay, yan. Oo, tama. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, that experience itself proves that you really wanted to know more about different business owners, right? So, I mean, I think I'm going to ask you is, what can you say about what's the difference between the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce group versus, in relation to the other groups that you're, how can you distinguish yourself as a great group? Like, what can you share? What type of qualities, I guess?
There's a lot of amazing Filipino American organizations out there. Absolutely. Like, I would say we don't fall short of organizations.
Talents, right? Yeah, I know. How many organizations have you joined though?
No, I didn't join everything. It's too much,
Too much work.
I only have 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah, I know, right? And plus, you have a husband to take care of,
absolutely,
right?
yeah, like almost newlyweds. So, the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, Greater LA, like all Chamber of Commerce, it's really focused on the business. Like other organizations, they focus on certain endeavors, whether that is helping our kababayans, like getting set up, getting a job, or whether they it's a cultural organization which we have in downtown, or some sort of housing. There's different things, or let's say more regional, like the Pangasinan group, like things like that. But the Chamber of Commerce is really for businesses and business professionals.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So yeah, I mean, like I've been to also a group also, but it's not like all Filipinos. Then I'm really interested also. So maybe we can talk about it later on. So
Sure.
That will be interesting. So anyway, so for that, now if you can invite our viewers, where can they find you, or maybe if they're interested in joining a Chamber of Commerce, and also you're also assisting in loans, right, for business loans.
Sure.
Then maybe your social media handles you can maybe share to the viewers out there and tell them where they can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. Please reach out to me. You can see my contact information on screen. So you can find me on Facebook at Lois PK Biz. I am also on Instagram, loispk.banker, and then also on LinkedIn, Lois Pagaspas Klavir. So if you have any, I would say I'm most active on Facebook and also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a bit more professional. So I highly recommend that if you don't have a LinkedIn account yet and you're in business, you have to be on. Yeah, you have to be on LinkedIn. So yeah, feel free to send me a message. Say, hey Lois, I saw you at the UPCEO, video live stream. I really like what you said about this. I have a question? So at least I kind of get a background on, it's not just because there's so many stalkers and,
Yeah,
or
I know, right?
not just that, just people just marketing nonstop.
Yes. Being salesy now, right?
Yes, absolutely. And, I want to make sure I take care of you and, please refer to UPCEO and, we'll get you taken care of.
You heard that, guys. Okay? Don't forget UPCEO.
Yes.
Well, now it's really good that it's really nice to find out, know you through social media.
Yes.
Yes. And maybe you can, before we end, can you please tell us share to the viewers your experience about utilizing social media to market your business or yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What's the important factor for you? Your own experience?
Absolutely important. I'm one of those, especially in my career. Not a lot, like if you're in banking or finance, it's very highly regulated. So I have to be very careful what I post out there, what I represent. Correct. So we're already limited already. Mm-hmm. But, I can be active on, community work. Correct. And when people find you active in community work, you just have that visibility. And, I guess that's the benefit of, volunteering. Correct. And, I post things here and there, like what I think is helpful for people, like especially last year, like people are just hungry for information. Mm-hmm. People are just hungry for like connection. Mm-hmm. So once once I think like, okay, I think this would be useful for them, I post that on social media. And then people respond, like they like it, they comment, like, how do I get this, the PPP loan or EIDL, just that information. Or sometimes I don't know the answer. I'm like, okay, I think you should connect with, this person.
Yes.
I think that's the important thing with social media. It's really to connect. Have that visibility, be purposeful. Yes. When you post something, you have a purpose of like, okay, I'm posting this because they will remember me as a business banker, or they will remember me as a community leader, or they would remember me as, liking to drive along, having time with her husband.
Yeah, and wearing blue. Also.
Wearing blue.
What's that blue again that you say? What?
Subliminal blue.
Subliminal blue. That's a new word for me, subliminal. I know the subliminal, but subliminal blue is new to me. So I'll take that word. All right, that's good. That's good too. Well, I mean, any advice that you can give to our viewers who can relate to you or connect with you that you can share with them if they're like they wanted to go on banking or your similar profession that you had, any advice or tips that you can give to them?
Sure. Just be open to possibilities. If expose yourself, like banking has so many branches in terms of departments. There's the branch. So when you walk in the branch, they give you services. That's one. There's the business banking. There's middle market. There's the private bank. There's investor. So you can't be limiting yourself and just decide, okay, this is it for me. Expose yourself, talk to people and ask them, how is it working like in your group? Because, you'll never know. Once you close that door, it's really you closing that door. It's, be open to possibilities. Because if you want to be in banking, you can be in banking for 30 years, 40 years. Correct. And go in different groups. And it's as if you've worked in different companies, but realistically, you're just moving from one department to another. So grow in that sense, find mentors. It's very important, whether it's in the bank you're working in or outside the bank, because, maybe you've hit the limit or, where you want to go in that bank, or you don't feel like your career is going to grow further, that maybe another bank can do that for you. So having that visibility, I actually got recruited on LinkedIn.
Wow. For what?
Because like at Chase, my job at Chase right now. Okay. So actually my market manager was recruiting me for 2 years. Like I wasn't ready yet, but he knew I was posting on social media. This is
through that, right?
Through that, like, he knows that I'm a community. I love volunteering. This is my passion. I was advocating. I'm woman. I'm Asian American. Things like that. It's like, oh, okay, we like that. And then, because of my mentors too in the chamber, it helped me grow into that level. And I'm going to have another shout out.
Yeah.
Ellen Sampson.
Hi,
Hello.
Ellen.
And Jerry Palone. So they really believed in me. So in 2017, when I joined the chamber, 2018, Ellen was the president, and she was like, "Lois, you're going to be my VP." I'm like, "What?
Oh.
No."
Did you get scared or something?
I was scared because of the time commitment. That's the thing with volunteering. Like, if you have a job, let's say you're there from 8 to 5. That's your job. But if you're volunteering,
nonstop.
It's nonstop. It's all over. So I was kind of worried on that sense because, I want to make sure I balance everything. I'm huge on work-life balance. So find your mentors, absolutely whatever you do.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Another golden nugget from care of Miss Lois. All right, guys. So any parting words before we end this show, Miss Lois?
I would say take advantage of invitations like this from Francis. You'll be surprised. I was like in the beginning, 2.5 hours. It's like, oh, that's a long drive, but
too far.
It's too far.
Yes.
But who knows what this message will reach? Where it's gonna reach, whether it will help you or it will help your friend or someone you know. Use the power of social media, use the power of connection, just build on that. And then absolutely take care of your family, because at the end of the day, whether you're so successful in your career, if you're unhappy with, your family, shout out to my husband, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Shout out to you, Mr. Klavir.
No, I would not have been here without his support. And I think it goes the same for everyone who volunteers or everyone who is successful in their career and their business. You don't see the people behind them. And we have to thank those people behind us, supporting us.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, I cannot thank you enough that you took the moment to drive for 2.5 hours, which is, really... crazy in a good way.
No, it's good. It's kind of like my quiet time. So
yes. You get to think, okay, I'm good. So anyway, all right, guys, this is another treat, and I hope you enjoyed your stay here.
Of course.
Yes.
I can't believe we're already done.
Yes, I know, right? So anyway, hope to have you again soon, maybe on the next season or something. Then we'll have another conversation, and hopefully it will be lesser than 2.5 a drive for you. So, all right. Anyway, all right, guys. This is another great episode with Miss Lois Klavir. And again, this is Francis San Diego, and I'm your unemployed Pinoy CEO. Thanks, guys. See you again next week.